1 of Week 5, Day 3. We've got the Selangor Red Giants going up against Monster Vicious.
Right off the bat, Hume's already making his way to the bottom side of the map just to help Kramm out with this proxy. Something that we have seen yesterday, and not just with the Alice, but strong XP laners that receive help from the roamers. They're gonna proxy that away so that they can get this invade going.
Kramm instantly blinks in. Two-man invade. They were prepared for Humes jumping in, but not for Kramm. A very smart level 1 play from SRG.
Not only that, Stormie with the Kimmy gets a mid priority, so that completely takes away and slows down the clear of YSS, and it's not done yet. They're going for the invade and the purple buff.
Stormie is here, takes a lot of damage from the snipe, but he will be able to keep himself at range. Massive rotations have already been forced out by MB just to get Unii his first buff.
Disrupting Uni's clear alone is gonna give Sekys an even better time. Again, these two are on the assassin, and Sekys is a level up, and he still has retribution.
Sekys could fully accelerate by going for his own jungle, but he's still gonna contest it with Unii, and he does. He steals away the orange and dashes through everyone out of the jungle.
To make it worse, there's only one camp left for Unii to go for, and that's a skilled lizard. Whereas for Sekys, he can full clear his top side and maintain that a potential 2-level lead, because he's level 4 now, and Yum is gonna keep on pressuring.
Oh my goodness, he's dead! Yums with the first blood! Flickers back out. Wall is not gonna do anything here. This is a massive loss for MB.
All 3 lanes are in favor of SRG OG, and this lizard, Lyoni, is gonna try and leash it as much as possible. But Unii, he's gonna trade some health bars, and Yums is willing to do that. He doesn't have the flicker, but there's not enough damage from MB to even take him down. This is a free turtle for SRG.
We're probably going to be looking at a 2 to 3 level lead on Sekys the more this game goes. Turtle goes for free. Sekys already rotates in to steal even more cans from the level 3 Yisan Shin. Throne of Ruin comes out from Kramm on Momo with Stormie. SRG is so active on the map right now.
I don't think Unii is going to be able to eat at all. Purple buff is going to come back up, and SRG, they know the timers. They're going to keep track of it.
Oh my goodness, guys. Wow, picks off Lyoni in the mid lane. That's the tank, by the way, and Humes is still doing Humes things.
This kind of thing is only enabled when you have lane priority. And when I say lane priority, is in a sense where the enemy roamer doesn't get to help out their lanes at all. And we see that snowball effect. 3 minutes in, SRG OG have Sekys being 3 levels up Unii, who is still halfway through 3, and he's not getting a break. Look at Kramm. Kramm is level 5.
This is crazy oppression from Selangor Red Giants right now. Every single time Unii cannot claim anything, Sky steals another buff away from the Yisan Shin. Bondolz does get a kill on Stormie, uses the Brilliance, but now 3 members of SRG breathing down his neck. Bondolz goes down. Hume's very low on HP. Momo will be able to pick him off. Sky's now in danger. Falling Star would connect, but he is able to dash away. And SRG backs out of the jungle.
At least Momo was able to get a couple of punishes going. Momo and Bondolz both getting a kill each. And that was Momo slightly ahead of Kramm in terms of experience. But look at Unii, he just hit level 4. He's going to be constantly 3 levels down. And that's not counting the fact that SRG hasn't been clearing their own jungle.
They just haven't been needing to. Oh my goodness, Lyoni has to use the Tectonic Charge defensively. If not, he actually would have died again, this guys. Now Kramm being punished a little bit. Falling Star Moon connects. Unii is here as well, but the Yisan Shin is so far behind that he's basically a non-factor. Kramm gets out scot-free.
Funnily enough, we actually saw the exact same thing. Was it from Smooth, where you have the Alice and you go for a quick level 1 invade? Because there's just no one that can take you down. They bring a 4-man gang.
Kramm's now surrounded. 1v4, flickers away from Falling Star Moon, but Lyoni is gonna smack him against the wall, and he will eventually go down. This guy is going to get another free turtle off of this.
His slide for a turtle doesn't have the Crimson Gleam just now, so sadly can't get away. But this lead is gonna continue extending for Sekys. They get Lyoni, who even used his flicker. So purple buff is now gone, and Unii finally gets to taste his buff for the first time in a long time.
He forces out another Brilliance in the mid lane on his way out. Rotates instantly over to Unii. And he steals it again, Unii! His retribution was 1 second off cooldown.
Oh, you can see like on the player cam, Momo, he has that smile on his face. He's like, we are getting bested.
This is a schooling right now. SRG, they said they were going to lock in. to get 2 zeros in all their remaining. Oh my god, Yums follows Unii across the wall!
Back to kindergarten. That's where SRG are sending MV back, and Ruff now is gonna finally feel the pinch.
Ruff now in trouble. He's been allowed to farm for a while, but not for much longer. The Shark Wave completely misses. He's gonna be forced to back off. Yums might not let him go home for free. Yeah, Lyoni has to stop his recall too, just to stop the Hilda from jumping on his Bane.
And that's top tier 1 gone. And Sekys not done just yet. I mean, what else to say? This is a masterclass from SRG, which goes back to what you pointed out. They have been polishing and fine-tuning that early game, but to this degree of polish.
Tectonic Charge comes in, they see Yums in the bush, they're surrounded. 4 members of MV will finally pick up the Hilda again.
Just to remind everyone, SRG OG, they're not doing anything fancy. This is advanced elite level of just understanding of the basics of the game and how to play that acro with the draft that you're given. They don't need to do anything fancy, they're just sticking to the basics.
It's genius, actually. You can tell that when they drafted this lineup, this was exactly the plan. And Traction pulls in Momo, surrounded by Tree. Stormie gonna chase him down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the rest of MV forced to back off. Momo will just barely survive, but it's perfectly timed so that SRG can control the turtle again.
No sprint for Momo, too rough. He's gonna get jumped on.
Deadly Catch comes out, pushes Yums away. Here comes the red. Oh, Ruff with the flicker play! Trades himself for Stormie.
Good stuff from Ruff, at least that's something.
Tectonic Charge completely whiffs. Great play from Sekys. He saw that coming a mile away. And here comes Kramm once again. MV, they're fairly tanky, but they just cannot walk up to the river at all.
A lot of times when we see XP laners move with roamers, it's not the easiest thing to do unless you are Esmer or you're someone with sort of mobility lapu, but with Kramm, you don't have a mana bar, you have this Crimson Gleam to always travel fast, and you have a Hilda on your roam. It's so easy to affect the side lanes.
Yums in some trouble, has to flicker back over the wall. Traction Pulse locks in Lyoni. And here comes Innocent with the Death Sonata. MV will disengage.
Momo should be able to get this onto Yums. Good punish there, and Innocent will be zoned away so that Ruff can get a bottom tier 1.
At least MV are able to get some damage on the map. They managed to take one structure. But look at SRG, they are just flexing on them right now. Momo lands the Falling Star Moon. Sky's actually dropping quite low, but he's so good at maneuvering on his lance.
By the way, Sekys is 5 levels ahead of Unii. No Tectonic Charge for Lyoni. Can Sekys break the record of the fastest level 15? I believe it was currently held by Kaung at 9 minutes 40 seconds. Could be wrong. There's no recent statistic on that.
We're actually gonna need to confirm that because I feel like there's a possibility of it happening if you can continue farming at this rate.
Endless battle, that's gonna help him out even more.
Well, SRG now focusing a little more on macro. They've had their fun now that they've taken all the turtles. The Kramm actually blinks back in. Momo is caught in the Traction Pulse. Gonna be sniped down from afar, just barely escapes the Skypiercer range. Sky's blocked by the wall. Tectonic Charge lands on the Landslot, but the Deadly Cat's a bit too slow. Kramm! With the Throne of Ruin on 4! Sets up the kill on Unii once again. Sky's going in on 20% HP! He's gonna get punished for that one.
Alright, the Sky Prince having a bit too much fun there. But still, SRG, they get something out of that. Bottom tier 2 to boot. Barely stays up. As the Lord spawns, SRG should be able to get back to there on time. And Kramm needs to hold that area for a little bit. The top tier 1 for SRG stays. The long lane has to be resetted by MV. So at the end of the day, and SRG didn't really lose much.
MV, as long as they can hold on to this game, there is still a chance. Falling Star Moon comes in. I don't think MV wants to fight this necessarily. They're just clearing the wave. But all things considered, the gold lead is not actually that much.
Yeah, it's actually a lot more manageable than it looks. Right, it's 7-7 in terms of kills, 3.6k gold lead for SRG OG, which will start ballooning even more once they get this Lord.
A Momo may have made a mistake trying to re-engage there. Falling Star Moon could have been his escape path, but he jumps back in, and Innocent picks him off.
More Skypiercer stacks for Innocent. I believe that's his second. It's been 20 stacks, an extra 2% in the execution threshold with a Lord pushing in. in 10 seconds. SRG, let's see if they can do some damage to the inhibitors.
SRG sieging in. We can already see the damage from Stormie and Innocent really racking up. Sky still playing on the macro. He has officially hit level 15. 3 levels ahead of the second highest EXP, which is Innocent, currently level 12. Even if the goal difference is not as big as you think, the EXP lead is massive.
It took 5 minutes for Unii to taste his first buff too. And it's very hard to hold this place. Lyoni, not gonna hold us a tectonic charge.
Momo taking the front line. He is starting to get fairly tanky now. So SRG no longer can play quite as willy-nilly. Kramm in some trouble, but wow, that healing.
That's insane. As long as he can keep his passive up, it's very hard to take him down. All about the cooldowns. Here he goes.
And here comes Kramm once again. Throne of Ruin behind the top inhibitor. Momo comes in with the falling storm with tectonic charge. Connect from Innocent. They found the Granger in exchange for Lyoni. And now MV is looking to chase. Sekys with the double. One hit away from the triple. But he backs up the backline. Momo trying to buy time. But Sekys not giving the chance to him. And that's going to be a 2-for-3 trade in favor of SRG.
SRG still wins that despite MV throwing everything, the whole house at them. And Unii almost goes down to just that one full combo from Stormie. Good news for MV. They held on to the inhibitor. But SRG OG, they are showing no signs of stopping. And good on Lyoni and Momo for catching Innocent even through his flicker. Because if not, that game would have ended right then and there.
Yeah, that fight could have been like the end of game 1 if not for the great catch on Innocent initially and for Momo buying so much time. In a more ideal situation, they would have picked off Sekys and they would have actually been able to join Momo in taking more of the fight. But for now, MV is still holding on.
Holding on barely, that gives Unii time to continue farming up. He's not going to hit level 15 by the next Lord, which is unfortunate. And MV has to contend with the fact that SRG can sit in these bushes, and on dangerous grass, that means more places, more nooks and crannies that MV has to constantly check.
Looking at the itemization right now, all things considered, rough actually not too behind Innocent in farm, about 800 gold there. And he already has Holy Crystal, Lightning Truncheon, Divine Glaive completed, so the Bane does actually hurt a fair bit. Pretty big gulf in farm between Sekys and Unii, but that is to be somewhat expected.
Yeah, waiting for Bondolz to get his Wishing Lantern. Then he can really start hitting hard and threatening the front lines of SRG OG, which does eventually scale up as game goes late, especially this Hilda who has a Blade of Hep's Disease. That's how confident SRG OG are.
Well, considering what happened earlier, it makes sense. Here comes the concealed play, instantly scouted by Stormie, flicker, tectonic charge, but the Throne of Ruin is destroying the MV backline. Mountain Stalker does some good damage. Lyoni has already been picked off by the Sonata in the backline as well. Momo trying time. SRG is so low, but Momo's surrounded. He knows he cannot stay. He will have to make a hasty retreat, and now SRG has free reign of the map. They should be able to get the Lord for free.
Another brilliant attempt from Kramm, and a successful engage that catches Rough. He threw out the deadliest catch, but sadly the damage is just not enough to deter SRG OG from dogpiling onto him. And that's Lord number 2 for SRG OG, a no contest for MV, and inhibitors will surely start to fall. But good news for MV, they are also starting to scale up. We're seeing the damage that they're starting to deal to Kramm, to Yumes, and the amount of damage that they can threaten SRG OG with if they try to full send it into their face.
Yeah, because of all of that, this is now a very important Lord for SRG. They ideally want to end the game with this, because if they let it last any longer, MV actually does start becoming pretty scary with their scaling heroes. Top inhibitor will fall, Lord is going to crash in, SRG slowly sieging, Kramm standing in front, traction pulls in Momo, look at that damage from the Granger. Sekys in a 1v1, almost gets picked off thanks to the Mountain Shocker, but MV doing a great job once again of simply holding the base. SRG not willing to give this up just yet. They're still trying to fight for the mid lane, but the minion wave has already been cleared out, and Kramm now going to be caught. Traction Pulse locks him down, and Unii picks up the kill, but SRG is chasing them down. They want revenge. Lyoni will be the first to fall. Death Sonata just barely misses. Brilliance comes out. Momo will be dived as well. SRG, 4-man strong, rushing into the base of Monster. Vicious Rough comes in from the flank. Stormie too low. SRG cannot end the game yet.
All things considered, SRG OG only managed to get one inhibitor, and MV holds the base, which means they get to fight a bit longer, continue to scale up. We saw the damage of Unii. He had a good chance of 1v1ing and beating Sekys. Same as Bondolz, who is starting to tear through Kramm's health bar. Even through that 50% damage reduction when he presses that Throne of Ruin, Sekys getting the Queen's Wings for himself just for the extra bit of durability when his health drops low. So this goal lead that SRG OG has, it's gonna start to look inflated than its actual value.
Yeah, the goal lead no longer means quite as much as before, especially now that MV has hit that 45k gold line. That means that most of their cores are actually hitting full build, and SRG cannot afford to underestimate them.
Definitely not, and Lyoni has been getting some great walls too, and always threatening the tectonic charge, which SRG has to always keep an eye out on. But in these inhibitor pushes, these sieges, very hard to navigate when you're in these choke points. So SRG OG's best course of action is to wait for the next Lord, try to use that to end the game.
MV, the question to them is, do they want to play a safer game with base defense, which so far has been working for them, or do they actually want to try and push out to contest this Lord? It's a very risky play, but if they don't do so, they're dealing with a pretty powerful objective.
Certainly are. These side lanes are not easy to manage either. Top lane is always going to be pushing in, and that's the long lane too for when this next Lord comes up. MV diverts Momo to the top side to make sure that at least alleviate that pressure a little bit, but that gives SRG the green light to start working on the Lord.
Should still be fine. Momo should be able to rotate fairly quickly down here. SRG also taking the Lord a little bit more slowly. Traction Pulse unfortunately will miss. Kramm jumps in on top of Ruff. Momo also going to be scouted front flank. Throne of Ruin sets up the kill, and Innocent with the snipe from afar. From the backline though, MV trying to wrap around. Tectonic Charge connects on Innocent. The fight is split completely in half. Momo is chased down Stormie. Innocent way too far forward, but look at him go! The Hulk man! Hulk beast! Sekys picks off Unii on the other side of the map, and Humes finishes off Bondolz. MV, they tried to split the fight, but you are dealing with the giants themselves! It is 4 members down on Monster Vicious, and SRG has a clean path straight into the base. Mid inhibitor will fall. Lyoni all by his lonesome. I think that's gonna be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Innocent is unstoppable, and a team wipes the